So of course, we're back doing another weekly video, and today we're going to be covering the forgotten missions of GTA Online. Now, if we're going to be real about this kind of video, every single mission in the game, if it isn't a heist or a business or anything tied to actually making you good money, it just naturally gets forgotten anyway, because why would you do something that doesn't benefit you in any way? Outside of the fun, of course, because some of these are actually really enjoyable to do. Enough of me though, let's get started with this forgotten missions video. To give you a little bit of context, if you play GTA Online, if you don't play GTA Online, every single week Rockstar gives certain aspects of the game double, triple, or even sometimes quadruple money and RP. Meaning during that week you can earn, obviously, that multiplier on top of the missions that you're doing. And that's kind of the problem they have in this game. Because of all these different types of missions you have, the different game modes, anything like that don't really benefit the players outside of having fun, nobody really is going to do them. Which is why a lot of these are slowly forgotten, unless during the week, of course, they're double money, then people are going to sort of remember them, but afterwards, they're going to be going back to no players, again, put in the vault until they come back again. So I'm going to give an honorable mention to some stunt races. These are the OG ones that came out, well, with cunning stunts. These were really fun at the time of release, and whenever these are double money, triple money sometimes, they earned you pretty good money. From my own experience, getting first place in like a 2 to 3 lap race with a full lobby of people, you'll earn about $100,000 to $200,000 depending if it's double or triple money. And they're really fun if you actually have players to go up against. Otherwise, they're not really that fun. I will say they gave a lot of life to the racing aspect of this game, because now you have the different tubes, ramps, different obstacles you can use. It really helped out the stunt race part of this game, I guess you could say. But I wouldn't necessarily say they're forgotten, because they're still fun, and when they're double money, a lot of people still play them. So if you want to say they're forgotten, you know, that's kind of up to you, whatever, however you want to think about it. Now, one mission here is a standout on its own. It's on a game or anything. This is called At the Races. Now, this is extremely popular. I don't know if it's in the game or not, because Rockstar did remove a lot of missions. And the reason why this is played so much is because it was the very, very first job that was on the list when you went to go play Rockstar Created Jobs. So naturally, the first thing on the list, of course, is going to be played a lot. This wasn't really a crazy race or anything. They just took the horse track at the casino and made that a lapped race. Not anything special. Of course, whoever has the fastest car pretty much wins the race. Other than that, it's just kind of a very nostalgic part of GTA Online. People might get mad about this one, but I'm going to put Sumo here as well. I don't know the different types of Sumos in this game. I know there's like 1 up to 6, and I think that there's different variations of Sumo in this game, and you could even have custom Sumos. People that made them, of course. But I'm talking about like the Sumos that don't really have a lot going on with them. Like, they don't have multiple cars or anything like that. It's just you hitting other players off. I don't really find that super fun. When it's double money, I don't even really find myself enjoying it that much. And if you're a solo player, it's even more difficult to enjoy this, because a lot of the time randoms, they play the game in a very boring way, trying to avoid everybody. And when you have everyone actually trying to hit each other off and it turns into like a demolition derby, it is very enjoyable. But outside of that, it just slowly feels like something that gets really repetitive and really boring. Now, all my OG players, you're going to absolutely love this. I have Rockets versus Insurgents. If you were not around during the time of this mission releasing, let me tell you something. This was one of the most fun times of the game. When it released, there was nothing in the game. There was no heist, businesses. There was literally just missions and player-created jobs. That was it. That was the whole thing you had, and Rockets vs. Insurgents was very enjoyable. You had one team that had Insurgents, okay? The other team had a floating platform that you sat on top of, and you had RPGs. Sometimes the game would glitch out and give you pistols, and that's when the game kind of got really shitty, but below the floating platform, there was ramps that the players with the Insurgents had to land on top of to kill the players that had the RPGs, and you know, vice versa. The RPG players have to take out the Insurgents. Now, what made this so fun is because it was just such a simple time. Everyone can hop in and do it. Everyone could understand what's going on. You didn't need to have a fucking Einstein brain to know how to play this. And it was just a great mission overall, but of course, it doesn't really feel like anyone plays it anymore because, again, the part of the game where players make missions, I don't feel that's played as much anymore, not nearly as much, because it just doesn't feel the same doing custom jobs anymore, and it's hard to find players that actually want to do this. A very recent addition is the drift races. I haven't even done this before. I think the gameplay I'm going to be doing it for my very first time, so I'm not exactly sure speaking right now what you do, but I think you just get drift points, and whoever gets the most wins the race. The reason why I feel this didn't really do well is, one, because the drifting tuning in the game isn't really drifting, it's just putting like a slidey mechanic on your cars. If you ever played the story mode and put on like the slippery vehicles as the cheat, it's pretty much that. Now this next one is runners versus whatever it may be. It could be snipers or vehicles. I think there's other mixes in there as well. Again, these were similar to Rockets versus Insurgents. It was just a really simple time. Everybody liked doing it, and it kind of got repetitive after a while because you didn't really have a crazy goal to work towards. You pretty much would just make it across a platform, dodge all the snipers or vehicles or anything like that. And when you got to the end, you pretty much won the game. I think you got like RPGs or something like that. And it was pretty much just a team deathmatch in a different way. Everyone can agree with me on this. There's no disagreement here. Arena War. This is 100% a forgotten game mode unless you're actively trying to think about it. Because who in the right mind still plays this? Nobody does. I find the potential of this was so great. One of the best missions. One of the best game modes that could have been added to GTA Online. But of course, well, let's be straight here. Rockstar gave up on it. So, the gist of this, right? Sorry to get in your face. It was like a demolition derby with goals you could have. I think they kind of took like inspiration from like Call of Duty, maybe Rocket League, Death Race, if you've ever seen that movie. You just took a bunch of cars with crazy modifications and just tried to fight it out with opponents and of course your teammates. It was fun when it came out because it was new. It was never before seen in the game. But the problem is, one, the vehicles were so pricey, and two, I already said that Rockstar just gave up on it. It doesn't really feel like it had any potential after it was introduced into the game. Just got left to rot away, which really sucked. Now we have something that is very similar to the stunt races, except these are called transform races. They pretty much took what we already had, the perfectly good stunt races, and added the special vehicles into them, like the Ruiner 2000, I think the Deluxe are sometimes planes, helicopters, you know, pretty much all the different types of vehicles, and you put them into a race and you transform into different vehicles throughout the race. It is just boring. I don't find any enjoyment out of it, even with a lot of people. Like, you just don't feel anything. Now I'm gonna have to give this to the ancient stunt races that were created by players. Now, I've already talked about, of course, Rockets versus Insurgents, the runners versus whatever it may be, and then here we have the old stunt races. Okay, I don't want to really mention this guy, but, you know, he's part of the GTA Online's history. We have Quabblecop. We had Jelly and Slogo Man. Remember all of those guys doing the old custom stunt races? They were so simple to do. They just had some ramps, you land somewhere, sometimes it was on a platform, and looking back at it now, it's very dated. You can see that how just old the races look, you know. But nowadays, they're just kind of lost to time because they don't have the same charm. People can make really, really nice looking stunt races now with the different like objects they got that they can place. But now we got Bunker Survival. I didn't even know this was in the game until I found it on the most played Rockstar Social Club missions. Okay, this mission. I don't know if I'll have any gameplay for it, and I don't know really what you do in it, because I wasn't around during the early days of this game. We have Rooftop Rumble. But to give you context, this was pretty much the best way to make money and get levels in the game early on. It was like the one mission everybody did to, well, just get things in the game. I think it was a really simple mission you can do. I think it was just point A to point B, and you get a lot of money for it, and that's pretty much it. If I have the gameplay, you'll see what's going on. But other than that, it is just a historic mission that everybody did and nobody does anymore. I could rank these as a complete entity, but I'm going to be doing the ones that were Rockstar created, the last team standing. These were pretty much just, well, whoever the last team standing was won the game. It was kind of like a team deathmatch in GTA Online. Now, these weren't really fun because of how Rockstar made them. They just took an area of the map, slapped you down, gave you some weapons, and you just fight it out pretty much. That's all it really is. What made this great is that when players made these, for instance, like Rockets versus Insurgents, the runners versus whatever, those were last team standing type of missions as well. But the Rockstar created ones, I don't know a single soul who actually is willing to play those. Even when they're like quadruple money, I don't think anybody's doing them. We do got a fun one here being Slasher. Again, you need like a lot of people to really have fun with this. Everyone's in VC yelling at each other, scaring each other, because this is like a horror movie type of mission. You're complete darkness. There's one slasher that has to kill all the survivors or whatever. But that's kind of the problem with it. You need to have a lot of people to make this fun. Even if you do it with randoms, it's not the same, because you want to hear everyone talking. You want to have the people that are getting killed scream and are scared, and it's just a really fun thing to do, especially when you're in first person. That's when it gets even more crazy. And we also got survivals. This is similar to the last team standings. I don't even know if players could really make these either, but these still just weren't fun either way. All you do is you survive as long as you can. Think about it as COD zombies in a way, except you don't really have any crazy weapons. You just kind of sit there and take out NPCs until eventually you die. That's kind of like the whole gist of what survivals were. I guess this one is pretty similar to Rockets versus Insurgents, but this is Stunters versus RPGs. So the mission I have in my head, big brain, of what mission I'm thinking about is you have a really, really high platform and then just a bunch of vehicles down the line. It can be supercars, sports cars, utility vehicles, off-road vehicles, just the whole package is up there. And then when you go off the platform, it's just a huge downhill all the way to the people on the platform at the down below that have either snipers or RPGs, and you have to take out the people that are going down the platform. Sometimes it's kind of hard because they're really fast, but then the people going down the platform have to hit the people that are down below with their cars, and it makes it really hard because, you know, again, you have a lot of speed and they're really tiny targets. But once you, well, miss your target, you pretty much just go in this tube and go all the way back up with boosters, and you just rinse and repeat. Pretty cool mission. You need a lot of people to really make this fun. You can't really do it with just 2 players and have a good time. It's kind of impossible. And I don't think these are ever made like double money or anything. So when you do these, you're really just there for the fun of it. And lastly, for this video, since I didn't want to make it too long, take up too much of you guys' time, we got Deadline. I'm gonna have to say it. One of the most fun game modes Rockstar has ever added to this game. What this game mode is everyone's on the Shotaro, and once you drive, you'll have a line following behind you, and you have to get the other players to hit that line, and they blow up, and you win the game. I think you have like up to 3 lines, I believe, and you get different power-ups, like a jump. I honestly can't remember what the other power-ups are, but when this was double, sometimes even triple money, you got so much cash for so much enjoyment. I think it was like $100,000 if you had a bunch of players, maybe even up to $200,000 similar to the Stunt Races, but there was more going on with it. And then all the different types of tracks that they added made it even more enjoyable. And some of the cool tricks you can do to take people out, it was so fun to do. And a lot of the time when you were good at it and another player was good at it, it kind of took a while to try to take someone to die. And it wasn't really a test of endurance either, because somebody always just slipped up and ended up blowing themselves up. Still a really fun game mode. I wish it was still played a lot more and double money was on it more as well, and I just have more people to play it with. But if it's not double money, again, it's kind of just forgotten, lost to time. Now that has been I believe like 15 or so forgotten missions, game modes, that however you want to think about it. And I know people are already going to say some of these are not forgotten, and the reason why I'm saying some of these is unless that they're double money, nobody's going to know that these exist. No one's going to acknowledge them. So in your mind, they're forgotten until they're brought up again. So do what you want with the information. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see a part 2 to this, let me know about some other missions or some game modes that I missed in this video, because of course I didn't include every single one. But I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed once again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, everybody. I love every single one of you. Don't make fun of my hair, please.